Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my March movie and TV wrap-up. If you want to watch the book version, find the link somewhere. Enjoy that, but this is exclusively films and TV shows in this video. So, I watched quite a few French movies this month, quite a few Danish and Norwegian movies, and then some really weird, bizarre stuff because yes, that is my vibe. So first of all, I'm going to talk about a double bill that I put on for myself because yes, who doesn't do that? And it was a Godard double bill, but more importantly, it was a Godard, Anna Karenina. Not Anna Karenina, Anna Karina. It was Godard, Anna Karina and Jean-Paul Belmondo double bill. So it was Pierrot Le Fou and Une Femme et Une Femme. I've never seen Pierrot Le Fou before. It was quite fun. It was very disjointed. You can tell that they were just kind of making it up as they were going along. But Anna Karina, I love her. She was one of the most charismatic and just playful and fun actresses of the French New Wave. I love her style. I just love everything, so if she's in a movie I will watch it, essentially. I do have her actual directorial debut. I think she only directed one movie, but I couldn't find it released with English subtitles, so I've got a DVD in French I can't watch yet. I need to get back on the French train. Weird. And then I can watch her directorial debut because I love her. But yeah, anyway, Pierre Le Fou is a very seminal summer film. It's about I can't even explain the plot to you because it's just so stupid. It doesn't make much sense. Someone kills someone, then they run away to the seaside. She's conning him. He's not too sure about it. Something else happens. Everyone dies at the end, pretty much. There's some iconic cinematography in this. And yeah, Pierre Le Fou. And then she calls him Pierrot, but his name's not Pierrot. And so constantly throughout the film is Pierrot. Je m'appelle Ferdinand. Who knows? So now, if anyone calls me the wrong name, I might just say Je m'appelle Ferdinand to them. And then if they know what I'm talking about, then they call. If they don't, we can't be friends. Je suis un film bro. Un film et un femme. I love that movie. It is one of my favourite films. I just love how silly, playful and provocative it is. It's essentially about this woman called Angela who wants to have a baby but her boyfriend doesn't want to, so then she starts talking to someone else. It's the French ménage à trois. Every single French film, I swear, has a love triangle in it. This is no exception. It's brilliant. I love it. Then I watched Diana's Wedding, which is a Norwegian movie. I think this was on Amazon Prime. And essentially it's about a couple who get married on the same day as Princess Diana, so 1980 something, and then it just follows them until I think 2020. They're completely dysfunctional, but it just follows the family drama with Diana as a plot device, and they also do call their kid Diana as well, so it's a bit strange. It didn't necessarily need the Diana link, it could have just been a dysfunctional family film. It's quite funny and it's also quite sad in places, but yeah, it's mainly funny. Wolfsburg, which is a Christian Petzold film. I'd been looking for this film for ages, and it's about this guy who kills a kid and then befriends the mother of the kid that he killed and then tries to sort of almost make it up to her. It's typical Petzold cinema. It feels very much like Jericho. It also does have the same actors, so it's got Benno Furman and the sensational Nina Hoss in it. It's almost quite predictable, but there's just something magic that Petzold does with endings that you know it's coming, but it still shocks you and it still is a compelling story. I really want to see his new film, A Fire, or whatever it is, with Paul Beer in it. Then I watched A Tale of Love and Desire, or Une histoire d'amour et désir. Please kill me now if my French is terrible after too many years of studying this. This is by Leila Bouzid, and it's a story about two Arab students. One is French-Algerian, the other is Tunisian, and they form a relationship and it blossoms through a joint love of books. They're doing a unit on Arabic literature, and specifically there's erotic literature. The guy is actually quite shy and feels almost embarrassed by the erotic, but Farah, I'm terrible with names, is sort of more free and less, I don't know, like concerned with the opinions of others, and they form quite a complex relationship with each other of love and desire. It's a beautiful film. I saw it on Mubi, and it's just a lovely love story that sort of plays with expectations and then also weaves into the story familial expectations as well as societal expectations. I think I made a note of quite a few of the books that they were referencing, the poetry that they were learning. So I'm going to have like a delve into the Arabic literature that they explored in this film, because it melted my brain, like stunning stuff. So get ready for that at some point. Oh, the worst film I saw this month. Antman and the Wasp, Quantumania. What a clusterfuck of a movie. It was just stupid, and not in a good way. Sometimes movies can be like utterly bonkers, like Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's almost stupid in its absurdity, but it was great. Whereas this, I nearly walked out, and I don't do that at cinemas. It was because of MODOK. The stupid, disgusting, unnecessary, and like I'm starting to think, maybe Martin Scorsese was right. Like, I mean, in a way he is. Like, Marvel films aren't cinema, they're movies. It's a different thing, it's entertainment, and this film just really made me think, do I even want to continue watching these films? So let's hope the next Marvel film will be like, yay, this is good. But this was terrible. The only reason, perhaps, I kind of knew it was going to be shit. The only reason why I watched it was for Jonathan Majors as Kang. One, because it links into Loki, and I love Loki, and I do enjoy that whole thing that they're doing in the TV show. But Jonathan Majors is an exceptional actor, and it's quite easy on the eyes. But yeah, like, he brings a lot to the film that is otherwise absolutely lacking. So, like, thank God they got such a charismatic, interesting and skilled performer. Shame everything else was a shamble around him. Then I watched 3 more Scandinavian movies. I think 2 are Norwegian and 1 was Danish. They're all period dramas. The first one was Victoria, which is based on a Knut Hamsun novel. It was okay. Beautiful nature shots, but it was ultimately, you know, the generic love story where 2 people love each other but they can't be together, so then they go off with other people and then, like, they cry when one of them dies. Every country in Europe has that story. It was basically that. Nothing to sing home about, but quite pretty to look at. Margaret, Queen of the North. This was quite a good period drama, because it is about Queen Margaret, who kind of united Norway, Sweden and Denmark. She has, like, a adopted son, and her real son died, allegedly, under mysterious circumstances, but a pretender, or could have actually been the real guy, comes back and then proclaims that he is her son. And what makes this film interesting is it plays with the idea that in the written evidence that we have now, it says that he was definitely a pretender, that he was executed, blah 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 blah, but when you think about history, it's written by the victors. Most of it is propaganda. So they play with the idea that potentially this guy actually is her son, but he can't prove it, so then he is killed anyway. So it plays on the idea that what we have written down isn't necessarily true. History is biased to the people writing it, and I love that. That's why I think history is fascinating, because you're going to look at it through this lens of, why are these people telling us this? What are they trying to prove? Who are they trying to prop up? Who are they trying to drag down? So yeah, it's beautifully shot by Charlotte Seiling. So I'm going to, like, keep a lookout, because there was just some beautiful, beautiful vistas of misty mornings and, like, castle architecture. Gorgeous. Out Stealing Horses, which is, again, it's another period drama, but it's set in in several different timelines. One of them is in the 40s, just after World War II, and then the other timeline is 1999, 50-ish years after events of one summer. Again, gorgeously shot. Let me just read my notes, because it's better. I literally made these notes after I watched it. So, a chance encounter with a person from his past makes Trond recall a fateful summer back in 1948. Some 50 years ago. And it's also based on a book, which I actually have purchased. Book by Man Died Again. Because I just wanted to delve into it more, because I feel like the film was only a couple of hours, whereas this has got quite a complex storyline of different timelines, so I was intrigued and I wanted to read it. And then in the film you've got the juxtaposition between winter in 1999 and then summer in 1948. And then I made this analysis, like this is pretentious me coming out again. Winter and summer are used to juxtapose the warm, balmy naivety of youth with the cold, hard reality of hindsight and the bitterness of old age. Yes. I also watched a Hungarian film by Ildikó Enyedi called On Body and Soul. It's quite an intriguing film. In the description, it felt very much like my kind of film. So it's set in an abattoir. Lovely. And it's about two people who fall in love because of a shared dream that they experience. So in their dreams they are deers wandering through this beautiful snowy landscape, and it's just a bit bizarre really. Set in a love story in an abattoir, what does that tell you? Like, everything's done for a reason obviously, and there's like quite graphic, horrible scenes of slaughter in this, so if you are vegan, don't watch it. But it does have a disclaimer at the end of the film saying that yes, these are real animals dying, but they were in a real abattoir shooting this. So it wasn't unnecessary, it was as part, I mean, all death is unnecessary, like just part of the everyday life of an abattoir. I don't know why I'm trying to explain. Why am I defending the filmmaker here? It's quite a fucked up, weird film, which I love, but it was so slow. And that kind of did spoil it for me. Like, glacial pace really did make it quite difficult to watch. I was aware of time passing, which is never a good thing in a movie. But yeah, it was beautifully shot, quite mysterious, quite whimsical. And those parts I loved. I just felt like it could have been shorter. I'm intrigued to see more of Ildikó Enyedi's work, but I don't think there's much that I can get a hold of. Like, there is a film that I really want to watch because it's got like Léa Seydoux and Louis Garrel in it, but I have no idea if I'll ever be able to see it. And then the final film I watched in March was Infinity Pool by Brandon Cronenberg. He is more fucked up than his dad, let's just say that. Brilliant. Alexander Skarsgård, Mia Goth, unhinged, depraved. I thought it was sensational. Of course I would. I didn't know too much going in because I wanted it to be a shocking surprise, and it did shock. There's a whole plot point in it that I didn't know was in it. I just thought it was like rich people on a resort holiday, like White Lotus-esque, but there's a whole other side to it. Gorgeous cinematography, like at the beginning, there's, I don't know how you call it, but the camera just revolves around. And so it makes you dizzy, which it just is symbolising what is to come. Like, you're going to feel sick, dizzy, disorientated, almost as if you've wandered into a dream. So having one of the first opening shots is this very dramatic movement of the camera, flipping the frame, so you go upside down and around over different views of this holiday complex with this disorientating music. There's a lot of like dreamlike sequences in this that get quite graphic and weird. Mia Goth is the queen of horror at the moment, and she gives a fully fledged, unhinged, crazy, psychotic, rage-filled performance that she's becoming known for. Alexander Skarsgård plays a interesting character. Like, he's a gigantic presence, but in this he's almost emasculated, and it's as if he's searching to emasculate himself through his privilege as a rich man, a rich white man. It's all very interesting. There's a dichotomy between rich and poor, very much like eat the rich, because they're all fucked up. And there's also like the seeking of thrill because of the mundanity of life and exploitation, fascism, you name it. It's in this movie. Perhaps that is a disservice because it does get quite messy. So not all plot points can be explored fully. But what it does explore is very, very interesting. And yeah, I'm probably going to look through more of Brandon Cronenberg's back catalogue. Very much but the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Not in a bad way. But it's very much... He's taken the DNA of his father's filmography and sort of spun it into his own. There's very Lynchian elements as well in this, with neon lights and just how unhinged and dream-like it is. I've been watching too much TV recently, which is probably why I only read 3 books, but we're not even in the book wrap-up. Mandalorian, Grogu Till I Die. Literally, most of the time when I'm watching this show, it's like, yeah, and then Baby Yoda appears on screen. It's like, he's so cute. Yeah, that's how you watch it. You can't... If you're not gushing at every time Baby Yoda Grogu does anything, then are you even watching it correctly? Does a backflip. Oh! Wears some armour. It's too cute for words, literally. Like, whoever created this show, I think it was Jon Favreau or something, and some other dude, they knew what they were doing, and they knew that Baby Yoda was crack. Face to Face, which is a Danish television show. This is on Viaplay. Wow, this is such a cool concept. It says it in the title, Face to Face. Each episode is a face-to-face altercation, conversation, investigation. So in the first season, there's 3 seasons in total. In the first season, a detective discovers that his daughter has died under suspicious circumstances. And so he spends the first, I think it's 8 episodes per season or 6 episodes, questioning different people and trying to unravel what actually happened. Yeah, so he questions people like a forensic person that like looks at a body and says how they died, a prostitute, his daughter's girlfriend / wife, I think she actually turns out to be. And then in the second season it focuses on the mother of the daughter and her own plot point. And then in the third season it's this other guy who was almost like a father figure to the dead girl in place of her real father. He's got his own dramas, but literally the cast is stacked with all of Scandinavia's greatest actors. Like you've got Ulrik Thomason, Trina Dyrholm, who I love, I think she's sensational, Lars Mikkelsen, Lars Ranthe, Evin Ahmed, what's the dude? Sverre Gudnason, Jakob Oftebro, the guy that's in everything, David Denick or Densik. That guy, he's in like literally everything. Nicholas Bro, like so many sensational performers. And the simplicity of the form of the show, just face-to-face conversations, really boils down to the writing and the acting and how compelling those things have to be when you've got such a simple premise. It's also like then a new fresh spin on the very tired perhaps Nordic Noir that is very formulaic at this point, but this sort of breathes in a new life to it. The cinematography is great. It's directed by Christopher Boe, who now I think for the 3rd video in the row I'm going to talk about The Taste of Hunger, which I thought was a good film but it's not exceptional, but I keep talking about it because it just keeps coming up. Smagen Afsult, the Danish name of it. But yeah, he directed and created this show, and it's really, really good. So if you like Scandinavian dramas, you need to watch Face to Face. It's on Viaplay. Sponsor me. What next? Oh yeah, and then I watched another detective thing. This is Black Snow, which is an Australian TV show. It stars Travis Fimmel, who everyone knows him as Ragnar Lothbrok. But in this he plays sort of a disgruntled, bit fucked up, riddled with daddy issues detective who solves cold cases, which in a way is very interesting. And you kind of think, what makes someone gravitate towards cold cases? In the run of the show you find out that he has his own reason for getting involved in cold cases. It is set in the 90s and in 2019, I think. So there's like a dual storyline of the 90s and then 20 years later. Yes, I think it was 1999 or, yeah, something like that. And it's about a community of South Sea Islanders from Vanuatu. One of the girls in the community is killed under very mysterious circumstances, and it didn't get solved properly. One, because the police department inherently racist, probably, definitely. Two, the community, there's a lot of illegality to the work that they do because of just how corrupt everything is. Like, they work at a sugar factory. There's a lot of illegal labour going on and things like that. But there was a time capsule, because the girl that got murdered was in her last year of school, and there's a time capsule that is then opened that reopens the case, which makes for a fascinating sort of device because of how slowly, through the unravelling of evidence, everyone becomes suspicious. And it's not until the final episode that it reveals who did it, like every other detective show in the world. But no, it was quite interesting. It was interesting how it explored racism within Australia, within the Black South Sea Islander community, and also like patriarchal and privilege of like rich versus the exploited and things like that. I think this is on Sundance now on Amazon, but I waited for it to mainly be out so that I could watch it within a 7-day free trial. Tip for you, it's all out now, so you can binge watch in a few days for free. But yeah, it was quite enjoyable. I would like to see a season 2 because there was an overarching plot line to do with the detective that is open for another season, so it would be cool to see that. Oh yeah, and then I watched a Swedish/English show called Threesome, which it says it on the tin. Basically, 2 Swedish people live in London. One is studying law, the other one is just there because he is her boyfriend. And they have a threesome with a French woman one night, and it destroys their relationship because of jealousy, of insecurity, and a wandering eye. But it was quite interesting. Like, it explores relationship dynamics. Yeah, it's an interesting character study. It kind of like plays on the idea of insecurity. Like, you could feel very much secure, but then one thing can change that and make you question everything. And once you step over that line, can you ever go back? And how your own thoughts betray you. Her boyfriend also then feels guilty, and it's just like complicated. It's quite a good show if you're interested in relationship dynamics and how lies and deceit and insecurities can really sort of shake things and break a solid foundation. And then the final show I've been watching, and I've already binge watched 3 seasons, is The Last Kingdom, which I am so annoyed that I didn't watch this sooner. I thought it was like the boring time in Anglo-Saxons. Because when I was at school, I did history at A-level, and we did a whole unit on the Anglo-Saxons, but it was like Rome leaving, Anglo-Saxons coming along, and I found it so boring because the material we had to read was so dry. It was like the ecclesiastical history of England and Gildas and all that bollocks. So I hated it. So I avoided this show thinking that it was just going to be boring because I thought Anglo-Saxons were boring. Turns out it's not that time period, it's the Viking stuff, which I actually find really interesting, like the idea of England struggling against the scourge from the north. And the guy in it is like literally the hottest man ever to exist. Uhtred of Bevenberg is a total babe. I didn't realise this, otherwise I would have watched it sooner. It's hilarious as well. Like, there's so much humour in it. And it's like the Dark Ages. Nothing funny is happening in the Dark Ages. But just this show, like the insults they levy at each other is just hilarious. Everyone's called a turd, a weasel, frog-licking Anglo-Saxon. It's just some top-tier banter in this. The fight scenes are really cool. Like, literally, I'm so annoyed that I didn't watch it sooner. But at least I've watched most of it now. Yeah, like the main reason why I started watching it is because there's a movie coming out, and I was just like, oh yeah, I've been meaning to watch this literally for years, but avoided it because I thought it was the boring Anglo-Saxons. But yeah, really, really cool. Like, I'm gonna finish it probably in the next 2 days. 2 seasons in 2 days? No, I don't think so. Oh yeah, I did try watching Daisy Jones and the Six. Like, by all means, it should be something I love, because I love 60s and 70s music, and 60s and 70s films, and just like that whole thing, but I just found it it a bit boring, so I just haven't continued it. I watched maybe 2 or 3 episodes and I was just like, meh, do I even want to continue this? Oh yeah, and Succession came back. I've only watched the first episode of season 4, the final season, but yeah, brilliant. Like, I just love how funny, witty, Shakespearean and operatic in its scope Succession is, about this like just ridiculously privileged family, and just how the show just takes the piss out of it. Like, there's this scene in the new season about a Burberry bag, and like everyone's going wild and this woman bought a too big a bag to a birthday party. It's just sensational television, but there's not really much point talking about season 4 when it's only aired 1 episode. So that has been my movies and TV show wrap up for March. Let me know in the comment section what you've been watching, what you've been loving. If you are interested in the books I read, then follow the link in the description or up there somewhere, or at the end it might come up with it as a suggestion. Thank you for watching. Give me a like, subscribe, and also let me know in the comment section whether you'd rather these videos be one video or 2 separate videos in future. Bye bye.